guys, this is lesson 1.1. Today we're talking about integers and absolute value. First vocabulary word you need to know is integers. The following numbers are integers. So the list here is showing positive numbers, negative numbers, and zeros. So these are only the whole numbers plus 0. You cannot have decimals or parts of numbers in an integer. The next thing you need to know is what an absolute value is. So a lot of people, as a shortcut, remember an absolute value is you just take the number inside of these bars here, you just make it positive. So negative 4 in absolute value bars is 4. It's positive. Same thing over here. Absolute value of 4 is 4. So that's a shortcut, but I really want you to understand what does it mean to have an absolute value. So what's really important to know is that it's the distance between the number and 0 on a number line. So if you were to graph negative 4 here, you'd say how far is negative 4 from 0? And we'd go 1, 2, 3, 4. It's 4 away from 0. That's why the answer is 4. Same thing here. If we are trying to find the absolute value of 4, we're trying to figure out how far is it from 0. 1, 2, 3, 4. It is 4 away from 0, which is why our answer is 4. All right? So that's the definition of absolute value, the distance between that number and 0. Find the absolute value of 2. So you need to know how to write the symbol for absolute value. First of all, absolute value is those bars on either side. You need to make sure that you make them big enough so they don't look like ones. They need to actually look like bars. So to find the absolute value of 2, you're just asking how far is it from 0. So if you look, it's 2 spaces away from 0, so the distance is 2. Therefore, the absolute value of 2 is 2, because 2 is 2 spaces from 0. Now we're going to find the absolute value of negative 3. Again, I want you to learn the symbols for absolute value. It's these bars here. And make sure you make them big enough so they don't look like ones. But the absolute value of negative 3, if we put it on a graph, we'd ask ourselves, how far is negative 3 from 0? So we'd say, oh, it's 1, 2, 3 spaces from 0. So the absolute value of negative 3 is 3. Now we're going to use what we've just learned to compare two numbers. If we have 1 and the absolute value of negative 4, we need to ask ourselves, okay, first of all, what is the absolute value of negative 4? So by looking at a number line, we can see that 1 is located right here, and the absolute value of negative 4 equals 4, so that's right there. So then we need to ask, okay, which one's bigger? Another way that I would do it is I would rewrite it. So I need to compare 1 and the absolute value of negative 4, so I'd probably rewrite it as 1 and 4. And then I can just see, oh, okay, the 4 is bigger. So since the 4 is bigger, I would make this greater or less than sign. 1 is less than the absolute value of negative 4. All right? The greater end is facing the absolute value of negative 4. Now let's do a word problem. The freezing point is the temperature at which a liquid becomes a solid. So that's what freezing point means. Which substance in the table has the lowest freezing point? So which one has the lowest temperature before it becomes a solid? So first we're going to graph it. You don't have to if you visually can tell, but graphing is one way you can tell which one's the smallest. So when you graph it, you notice, oh, I have negative 53 all the way down here. So since it's furthest to the left, airplane fuel has the lowest freezing point, negative 53 Celsius. That is the lowest number we have. Okay, the next question is asking, is the freezing point of mercury or butter closer to the freezing point of water, which is 0. So mercury's -39 and butter's 35. So since the freezing point of water is 0, we're just trying to figure out the distance from 0. So we can use absolute values to solve that. So the absolute value of mercury is 39, which means mercury is 39 spaces from 0. But butter is 35. That's only 35 spaces from 0. So, because 35 is less than 39, the freezing point of butter is closer to the freezing point of water. Hopefully you can see that absolute value bars really help you in solving that. All right, that's the entire lesson for today. Hopefully that made sense and I didn't go too fast. If you have any questions, please let me know here, and also you can let me know in class tomorrow.